Bundesliga match day 10. Oh man, what a weekend, eh? Upsets and some incredible goals. And you know what? We at Tips Moto pretty much predicted it all.
Yeah, this match day was a real roller coaster. Everything's so tight at the top and bottom of the table. Every result really matters right now.
Absolutely. Speaking of the top of the table, Bayern Munich, another win. They took down St. Pauli.
Another solid performance from Bayern. They're looking very strong, very consistent this season.
They are. But the real story of that match, Jamal Musiala, what a goal.
Oh, incredible strike. And, Bayern's dominance is exactly what our preseason predictions showed.
I love when our supercomputer is right.
It is right more often than not.
It really is. 5 points clear at the top of the table already. That begs the question, can anyone stop them?
Well, Leverkusen had a chance to keep pace, but
Leverkusen drew with Bochum. Bochum. Can you believe it?
it was a shock, I'll admit that. A
Yeah.
real missed opportunity for Leverkusen.
A missed opportunity is an understatement.
Hmm.
We at Tipsmoto had them down for a much better result. Our supercomputer, you know, it considers all the angles.
It does, but sometimes these things happen in football, right? It's unpredictable.
Unpredictable is one word for it. So now Bayern has even more breathing room at the top.
It does make things tougher for the chasing pack.
Speaking of tougher, Dortmund. What's going on there? Another loss to Mainz.
2 defeats in a row against Mainz now for Dortmund.
They've got the players, the talent to challenge for the title, but where's the consistency?
That's what Dortmund fans are asking, yeah. They need to find a way to string together some wins if they want to catch Bayern. Even our supercomputer didn't see this one coming.
Okay, well, let's move on to a team who are doing exactly that, winning. Union Berlin. What a season they're having. Still unbeaten after that draw with Freiburg.
They're the real deal. Solid defensively, well organized. They've become a serious contender in the top half of the table.
I think a lot of people are starting to take notice.
They should be. Union Berlin are proving they're not a fluke.
And for our Tipsmoto users out there, this is where things get really interesting. Union Berlin are shaking things up, and that means there are some really nice betting opportunities out there.
The Bundesliga this season, it's full of surprises.
That's why you need Tipsmoto in your corner.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating story, Union Berlin this season.
It is. And speaking of fascinating, or maybe I should say terrifying, let's talk about that relegation battle. Heidenheim, another loss, this time to Wolfsburg. Makes it 5 games without a win now.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them. They're rooted to the bottom of the table.
Our supercomputer had them down for a tough season.
We did, but they've been even worse than we expected, to be honest.
It's going to be an uphill battle for them to stay up.
It is.
And Holstein Kiel still searching for their first win of the season.
That loss against Werder Bremen, it was a close one, though.
It was, yeah, they're showing some fight, but they need to turn those close losses into wins.
They do, urgently, before it's too late.
On the flip side, Wolfsburg climbing the table. 3 wins in a row for them now after that victory against Heidenheim.
Yeah. They're quietly putting together a very solid season, sitting comfortably in mid-table right now.
Just like we predicted.
Exactly. Our supercomputer doesn't miss often.
Okay, well, let's give some love to Werder Bremen, too. They snuck out a win against Holstein Kiel.
Oliver Burke with the late goal. Talk about clutch.
That's what you call a super sub. Vital 3 points for Bremen.
Absolutely. Keeps them well clear of the relegation zone. For now, anyway. You never know with this league.
Eintracht Frankfurt. What a game that was against Stuttgart.
Right down to the wire. That goal that was disallowed in the 98th minute.
Can you imagine being a Stuttgart fan? The highs and lows of that match.
Brutal.
But hey, that's the Bundesliga for you. Yeah, Frankfurt, though, they're right in the mix for a European spot.
As we predicted.
Of course.
RB Leipzig and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Not a lot to talk about there. A 0-0 draw.
Yeah, pretty cagey affair. Key fences were on top in that one. Not many chances for either side. Leipzig will be disappointed not to have gotten the win, though. Especially with Bayern pulling further ahead.
They will. But hey, a point's a point.
That's true. Augsburg and Hoffenheim. Another draw.
Kind of a boring one, if I'm honest. Augsburg are on a decent run, though. 4 games unbeaten now.
That's impressive. Even if their matches aren't the most exciting to watch, our supercomputer actually had that one down as a draw.
We're pretty happy with how our predictions have been performing this season.
We are. And that's match day 10, folks. Another roller coaster ride in the Bundesliga.
Plenty of drama, as always.
And for our Tipsmoto users, plenty of opportunities to cash in.
That's what we like to hear.
All right, so we talked about all the big results from match day 10, But what does it all mean?
Well, I think the main takeaway is Bayern Munich are still the team to beat. They just look so dominant.
They do, don't they? Another win, another clean sheet. I mean, is anyone going to challenge them this season?
It's going to be tough. Leverkusen had a chance to close the gap this week, but that draw against Bochum was a real setback.
It was a shocker. But they can't afford to dwell on it, can they? Still a lot of football to be played.
Exactly. They need to bounce back quickly. But, Dortmund aren't exactly making things easy for them.
I was going to say, Dortmund losing again? It's not helping their cause. They're too inconsistent.
They are. One week they look like world beaters. The next week they're losing to Mainz.
And then you've got Union Berlin quietly going about their business. Still unbeaten.
I think we have to start taking them seriously now. They're not going away.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And for our Tips Moto users, this is where things get really interesting. Union Berlin were a bit of a dark horse at the start of the season.
Not many people had them down for a top 4 finish.
Exactly. But now they're right in the mix. So if you were smart enough to back them early with Tips Moto, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself right now.
You should be.
And at the other end of the table, things are getting really tight down there.
The relegation battle is going to go right down to the wire, I think.
Heidenheim and Holstein Kiel, they need to find some wins soon.
They do. Or they're going to be in big trouble. But even those matches, they offer some great value for bettors.
Absolutely. And our supercomputer at Tips Moto can help you find those winning bets.
We analyze all the data, all the stats to give you the best possible predictions.
So if you want to stay ahead of the game, make sure you're following us on all our social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We're constantly posting updates, analysis, betting tips, everything you need to know about the Bundesliga.
Because, let's be honest, keeping up with this league, it's not easy.
There's always something happening.
Exactly. But with Tips Moto in your corner, you'll never miss a beat.
So what are you waiting for? Join the Tips Moto community today.
That's it for this week's deep dive into the Bundesliga. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for Match Day 11.